Unicorns Talk is a weekly podcast where we discuss the ups and downs of the human experience, from personal growth to romantic relationships and everything in between. This show is for life livers, life lovers, and life enhancers. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards, your life enhancement coach, and together we're going to laugh, love, and learn to maneuver all of life's little messes. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Latrice Sampson Richards here, your life enhancement coach, and you are tuned in to episode 17 of Unicorns Talk podcast. And this is actually Thanksgiving week, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. If I don't get a chance to see you or talk to you, or just to be able to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. The holidays are definitely my favorite time of year, but when it comes to Thanksgiving, like the true actual story of Thanksgiving, it actually really sucks. And so I'm not a big fan of the reality of Thanksgiving. But the idea of Thanksgiving as a holiday that, really that celebrates expressing gratitude for the blessings in your life, I think that that's really awesome. And so, in the spirit of preparing for my Vision 2018 Masterclass coming up next year, we're going to be talking about how to utilize intentional gratitude to manifest your vision. So, if you listened to the last couple episodes, I know last episode in particular, we really kind of started talking about the law of attraction. And I am a very big believer in the law of attraction. I am a actually certified as a law of attraction provider, and so I really have a deep understanding and appreciation for the law of attraction. And so as we prepare ourselves for creating our vision and implementing the changes that we need to make in order to manifest our vision, I think it's just really good for us to get this solid foundation, okay? And I definitely feel like learning how to learning how to express gratitude and using that intentionally to manifest your vision and manifest the desires of your heart is extremely important. So that's what we're going to be focusing on mainly today. And then our feature for today is high five. And I know I feel like I've been doing a high five as the feature for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I love a high five, y'all. I really do. I love a good high five. And I feel like with all the craziness that's been going on in the world, like the last several months, really years, but months in particular, I just feel like I want to highlight as much positivity as I can while I have the opportunity to do that. And so I am doing a high five this week. I wanted to do like a triple high five because there's so much greatness going on right now outside of all the bullshit that is America. But I decided to go ahead and really just focus on one high five in particular, which is for, of course, Mr. Colin Kaepernick, who was actually selected as the 2017 GQ's Citizen of the Year. And so I'm going to be talking about why he's my high five and why you should give him a high five, why he deserves a high five. Yeah, we'll get more into that. And then finally, I definitely, this is the Thanksgiving episode. And so for 2017 anyway. And I just want to kind of talk about the things that I'm thankful for, and hopefully get you to start thinking about the things that you're thankful for as well. All right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so talking about the law of attraction, I think that we spend so much time really focusing on the future that we fail to really acknowledge the present and be present. And a big, big part of utilizing the law of attraction in your life is allowing yourself to be present. Life may not be where or what we want it to be, but there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude is the cornerstone of the law of attraction, and it is very heavily taught across positive psychology, which is the science of happiness. Yes. Happiness has an actual science, okay? It's called positive psychology, and it's a real thing. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be, 100% honest because that's what I do. I was contemplating going back to get my doctorate. And when I was looking at, okay, what might I want to get my doctorate in, that's when I came across positive psychology. And I really considered getting my PhD in positive psychology. And so in my research process, I actually ended up purchasing an audio book from the founder of positive psychology, and he lost me like legit within the first 15 minutes of this audio book because there was a comment that he made, or he was, basically it was the unabridged version, so he was reading the book, right? And so he said, you know he was basically talking about this idea of the law of attraction and how you can manifest the desires of your heart, and how everybody has the ability to kind of pull themselves up by the bootstraps, which I hate to fucking bootstrap. Like, I'm so over hearing the word bootstrap at this point in my life. But he was talking about that, and he said something along the lines of, unless you had the unfortunate luck of being born homeless or poor or black. And so apparently, being born black is one of the worst things that could ever happen to a person um, in life, apparently. Or at least that's what I took out of that comment. And so I never could bounce back from that. And I actually never finished that book because I was just so frustrated by that particular comment. However, the idea of positive psychology and the science of happiness, it has a lot of really valid points, okay? And so I guess it's just kind of one of those things where you can't put so much emphasis on the messenger, if you will. But positive psychology has a lot of roots in the law of attraction. And this idea of gratitude is one of the foundational principles of both. Okay. The law of attraction holds that it is virtually impossible to manifest new desires if you cannot first express gratitude for the ones that you currently have. So, when you are talking about creating a vision, which is what we're going to do in the Vision 2018 masterclass, right? I am going to actually take you step by step through creating a vision. You first, though, need to be able to be thankful for what you have currently in your life, okay? And this idea of gratitude, this idea of being present and being grateful and intentionally grateful in the present, this idea is taught across all of the major. What do I want to call it? I don't want to say religions, but it is religions as well. Faith-based thought processes, I'll say, because I'm not a very religious person. I mean, I love the Lord, don't get me wrong. I do believe in God, and I love the Lord. I pray, I thank the Lord every single night, like literally every single night. But I'm not a particularly religious person. And the research is actually showing that most people are moving away from religion, organized religion, and really kind of embracing more of a spiritual kind of realm, right? So, this idea of being more spiritually connected versus being guided by the rules of man, who believe that this is how the righteous should behave, right? And so I definitely fall into that category. So I'm not a very religious person, but across all of the major, spiritual thought processes that exist in the world: Christianity, Judaism, Islam, even the Rastafarian faith, all emphasize the necessity of gratitude. And they also, more importantly, emphasize the expression of that gratitude toward a central being or the universe, for what you currently have. I think that whatever you choose to call it, God, Allah, Jah, the universe, I believe that it's all the same thing. We're all talking about the same entity. And that's just my belief system, okay? And that's based on my own personal research. I'm not I mean, I haven't done any type of scholarly research on this. This is just my own personal spiritual journey. I believe that it's all the same entity. We're just calling it different things, okay? And so, across all of these, there is this idea of this central kind of deity or this central entity, for which we express gratitude, or toward which we express gratitude. Okay. And it's no different in the law of attraction. Really quickly, I want to talk about the role of gratitude in manifestation. Okay, so the role of gratitude in manifestation. I think the biggest role that gratitude plays in manifestation is perspective. Okay, and so you're going to hear me use the word perspective and perception interchangeably, because I feel like for the most part, okay, like in an overly generalized kind of world, which is, this is what we have here on the podcast, okay? But in an overly simplified world, perspective and perception are kind of like two sides of the same coin, okay? They work very much hand in hand. And so you're going to hear me use those words interchangeably from time to time. But I don't want you to get confused, because just know that I'm talking about the same basic idea, okay? Perspective is another way of saying point of view, okay? It is literally the view from which you see things that are happening in your world. It's how you receive it, how you experience it. Perception is how you process what you have received. You get what I'm saying? What you have experienced, okay? So your perspective is how you see it, from whence you see it, from where you see it, and your perception is how you process what you have seen, okay? And so it's really two sides of the same coin. And how you experience an event, a situation, a person, an emotion, whatever it is, how you experience life ultimately is how you perceive it. All right? How you experience it, it's how you perceive it. Okay? So this is shaped by all of our past life experiences. It's also shaped by our current emotional states, and our own ability to process emotions. Okay? So who you are at any given moment is a direct reflection of your life experiences up to that exact point, right? So, for example, who you are right now at this moment, listening to the sound of my voice and having already heard me explain the differences and the similarities between perspective and perception, you are in this moment a different person than you were 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, because you now have had a different life experience, or a new life experience that may or may not have shaped who you are, your thought process, your perception, your perspective. Okay, because of something that you have experienced. So, who you are at any given time is a direct reflection of your life experiences up to that point. Okay, and so practicing intentional gratitude, or gratitude as a practice, can help you to shift your perspective in life. All right, Thankfulness will help you to redefine your own view of what is really happening in your life. In order for this to work, though, it first requires that you have a certain level of openness to this change. You have to be open to receiving the changes, or allowing yourself to experience the changes and embark upon the changes. All right. You might have to revisit some of the past hurts, some of the past wounds, some of the past experiences. Like, you might have to go back to some of the things that you have tried very, very hard for a very long period of time to suppress and pretend that those things didn't exist. You might need to go back to those things and reopen those wounds, because the reality is that as hard as you have tried to suppress those experiences and to pretend that they don't exist, if you can be 100% open and honest with yourself, which, if you're not going to be honest with yourself, what's the fucking point? Right? Like, if you're not intending on really being open and honest with yourself, then what is the point of pretending to embark on this journey of change and growth and vision manifestation? Because if you're not ready, you're not ready. Okay? If you're not ready, you're not ready. And maybe a part of your journey is acknowledging that you're not ready yet and doing whatever it is you need to do in order to prepare yourself to be ready. Okay? But if you would be 100% honest with yourself, then you would be able to acknowledge that all of that hard work you putting into suppressing has been unsuccessful, because the damages of those experiences, they're going to show themselves whether you want them to or not. And they show themselves in your day-to-day life right now, currently. You see it in your relationships, in your finances, in your self-perception, your self-esteem, maybe even in your work life, okay? Your stress levels. All of these things are the manifestation of your failed attempt to suppress those past hurts and those past wounds. All right. And 9 times out of 10, your perception on those events or situations or experiences is what is holding you back. It's not the event itself. More often than not, okay? More often than not, it's not the actual experience, because wounds, physical wounds, heal over time, right? Physical wounds heal over time. If I was physically assaulted, those body parts that were assaulted, eventually those things are going to heal. Hopefully. Okay? Eventually those things are going to heal. It's the emotional damage that lingers and lingers and lingers. And it's the emotional damage that seeps into our relationships and makes it extremely difficult for us to engage in healthy relationships, right? Loving relationships, supportive, mutually respectful relationships. It's the emotional damage that makes it next to impossible to be financially responsible, because of the negative emotional connection that we have to money, or the negative emotional connection we have to food, right? If you're somebody that's trying to lose weight, I'm on a health healing process of my own, right? And I'm really just now starting to realize and understand some of the negative connections that I have to food. All right? The shit is real, y'all. It's real. It's not hocus pocus. And it don't make you crazy because you're struggling with this. Because I can guarantee you, I can't guarantee you a whole lot, but one thing that I can guarantee you is that every single person that exists in this world and that has ever existed in this world, they got baggage, and they have had baggage at some point in their life. Some of us heal from our baggage and find a way to move past our baggage, but far more of us just get weighed down by it. Okay? So, intentionally utilizing gratitude and thankfulness as a practice in your life, can help you to redefine the reality of your situations and your experiences. Okay? you have to make the decision to find things to be thankful for and to express that gratitude every single day. Okay? This doesn't always only have to include like tangible things like money and food and clothes and shelter. Like, I mean, you can definitely be grateful for those things, and it's a good idea to express gratitude for those things. But that's not the only things that you can be thankful for. When I'm talking about changing or redefining your own view of the reality of what's happening in your life, that's really, I think, something that's found a little bit deeper in those intangibles, right? So expressing gratitude for things like love and the lessons that you learned from those experiences and those memories, right? And maybe the relationships that you have been able to develop as a result of those experiences. Okay, the comedian Tiffany Haddish has been very, very open about her early life experiences and growing up in the foster care system, and that whole experience, like growing up with an abusive mom who had a traumatic brain injury and just was not herself, right? And so she talks about how that experience, although it was extremely traumatic and it was a horrible experience, and in that moment it was like the worst thing that she could imagine happening to her, and she endured this for multiple years, right? But now today she has been able to identify the lessons that came out of that experience. And even when I think she hosted she hosted Saturday Night Live a couple weeks ago, the very first African American female comedian to host Saturday Night Live, which is fucking ridiculous, but whatever, that's the world we live in. And she, at the end of it, when everybody is saying good night and stuff like that, she thanked her social worker, the social worker that she had during what was probably one of the most difficult periods of her life, one of the most tragic experiences that she could have ever had in her life. And she found something to be thankful for in that moment. That required her to be open to seeing that tragic and horrible experience as something that has the possibility for growth and greatness. Okay? And so, what I'm saying to you is that you're going to have to try really, really hard for certain experiences to be able to see the good that comes out of those experiences. But I am a silver linings kind of girl, and I do believe that all life experiences, good, bad, and ugly, there is some good that can come out of it. Even if it's one teeny tiny little thing, there has to be something to come out of it for which to be grateful. You have to be willing to find that and to acknowledge that. And more importantly, to allow it, to allow that thankfulness to exist. Okay? So, gratitude as a practice will help you to change your perspective on life and in life. Okay. Another role of gratitude and manifestation is another of the foundational principles of the law of attraction, which is like attracts like. Okay. So, like attracts like is the basic idea that in order to attract positivity into your life, you must first acknowledge the positivity that already exists there. Okay. And so when you are trying to bring in positive experiences, positive people, positive, just positivity into your life, you are more likely to be successful at doing that when you exude positivity. Okay. It's just like that old adage, birds of a feather flock together. Or when people say misery loves company. Those things are founded in, real, like in reality. Birds of a feather flock together. Things that are like and like minded tend to gravitate toward each other. Gratitude as a practice is a systematic approach to identifying these positive aspects of your life. Because when you are being intentional about identifying the positivity that exists in your life, it helps you to be able to manifest more positivity. It keeps that positivity in your mind, and it tells the universe that this is what I want to see to manifest in my life, and it attracts more positivity. It also breaks the cycle of dwelling in the negative, all right? I mean, think about it. How many times have we like ignored the rest of our life because one area of our lives is giving us some trouble or causing us some heartache? Or maybe two areas of our lives. Like, for example, maybe we have a lot of debt. Maybe we are in debt. And so, because we are in debt, we walk around with this dark cloud hanging over us, right? We walk around with this dark cloud hanging over us, and we completely disregard the fact that, yes, I'm in debt, but I have food on my table, or, I have a shelter over my head, I have a roof over my head, or, maybe even I have a car, or I don't have a car, but I got these feet, or I don't have a feet, but at least, I can, walk around on these arms. Like, we lose sight of the things that are going well for us because of the things that are not going well. And so, utilizing gratitude as a practice helps us to remind ourselves of the positivity, and it kind of snaps us out of dwelling in that super, super negative space. Okay. It also can help with our interpersonal relationships. Expressing appreciation for the relationships and the people that you have in your life, it goes a very long way. It goes a long way in terms of building stronger, more authentic, more supportive types of connections. All right. In addition to that, you are more likely to attract better relationships and have fewer problems in your relationships at home, at work, as a result of as a result of intentionally expressing this positivity and gratitude for the things that currently exist, for the people that currently exist. It might be the grocery store lady, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be the lady at the grocery store that every single time you go to the grocery store, she doesn't make you feel judged. She knows that, you're on a limited income. She sees you coming there every day or every week, but she never makes you feel judged. She asks you, "Hey baby, how you doing? How's your day going?" She smiles at you and makes you feel like she actually cares about what's going on in your life and what's happening with you. She really wants to know how you're doing. Be thankful for that and express gratitude and appreciation for that to her, but then also to the universe. Identify that that positive thing happened in your life, that that positive person exists in your life, and you are much more likely to experience more positive things like that. All right. Finally, I want to talk about the practice of gratitude. Okay. So, what does this look like? I've talked about gratitude as a practice. And so now I want to talk about, how do you practice gratitude? Well, I think that, obviously, you just verbalize it, right? One of the first things and the easiest ways that you can do it. Well, I'm saying easy, but you know what? For a lot of people, it's not as easy as it seems. Um, you know, for me, I know that it has always been, it was a part of my journey, like learning how to express that appreciation, express that gratitude verbally, like to other people, but even just to myself, because I don't know, it's just, I think there's a certain level of vulnerability that is required in order to really be able to express gratitude, toward yourself, toward the universe, but also to other people, to the outside world. And so, what I would really want to say to that then is, start small. Gratitude as a practice can be very, very difficult to begin, especially if you currently exist in a state of misery or a state of darkness. If your life right now, if you're feeling like nothing in your life is going well, then it can be really, really hard for you to identify things to be thankful for. So, in that case, I think you can definitely start with just the basics. Like, I'm thankful for being alive. I'm thankful for being relatively healthy. I'm thankful for having a job, even though I hate my fucking job and I don't make enough money. I'm thankful that I have a job. I'm thankful for my sanity, which I actually am thankful for my sanity. You know, like I think working in the field of mental health for as many years as I have, I think I have definitely grown to have a deeper appreciation for sanity and for the use of my mental faculties, because I understand that not everybody has that privilege. And it is a privilege. Not everybody has that. So I'm grateful for that. Being grateful for your sanity, being grateful to have enough money to pay bills, even if you ain't got no more money after you pay them bills, right? But I'm glad that I was at least able to get them things paid, okay? And if you can't come up with anything else, I think you can definitely express gratitude, for the desire to be thankful. And what I mean by that is being thankful for the desire to be thankful, for the thought process that is leading you on this journey that starts with gratitude. You see what I'm saying? Because the fact that you are even considering this in all of your darkness says that there is something that is stirring up inside of you, that is moving you in the direction that you are supposed to be going in. And for that, you can be grateful. And for that, you can express gratitude. So start small, start wherever you need to start. Some other ideas, for practicing gratitude is journaling. I'm not a really big journaler. I'm not big on journaling, but for a lot of people, it is very, very helpful. You can, do something as simple. Well, so I'm not a journaler, but I am a lister. And I've been contemplating this the last couple of days. I think the fact that I make lists and I have notebooks, I don't call them journals, I just call them notebooks. And I make my list in my journals or in my notebooks. And so maybe I am a journaler. Maybe my journaling just looks different than what's typical. But whatever. Journaling, you can start with something small, like keeping a little notebook right on the side of your bed, and maybe first thing in the morning when you wake up or before you go to bed, you can incorporate it as a part of your sleep hygiene, kind of program that you do every night, your sleep hygiene routine. You can list 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for today. And that can be something as simple as I had a bomb ass tuna fish sandwich today. And I am grateful for that tuna fish sandwich. It was the bomb. That's okay. Express that gratitude, right? I had a really good day at work today. I didn't have to slap nobody's child. Okay? Be grateful for that. I ain't have to cuss nobody out. Express gratitude for that. Okay? It's the little things. It doesn't have to be just big, big things. But write those things down so that over the course of time, you can look through it when you're having a really bad day or you're really struggling to find things to be grateful for that day. You can look back at the things that you've written in your journal beforehand or in the past, and you can say it can kind of remind you of the things that you have to be grateful for. Okay? Nothing is too small to acknowledge. All right. Another way for you to practice gratitude is in mindfulness. Okay. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is really just a mental recognition of gratitude and appreciation in that moment. Okay, in that moment, being mindful, being aware. Like, for example, I'm very grateful for having the opportunity to travel the world. And even though my 9 to 5 job is making it extremely difficult for me and my husband to be in the same place at the same time, I am grateful for the opportunity to travel the world and to see all that God has to offer, right? And so sometimes when I'm feeling really dark or really down about, missing my husband and things like that, I have to remind myself in that moment that I am thankful for having this experience. And I am thankful for having my husband and for having a relationship that, is able to withstand these difficulties, right? So, no, my situation is not ideal, and both of us are working very hard to, get more settled and make it a more ideal situation. But even in the midst of that, there are things for me to be grateful for. And in that moment, it helps me to remind myself of that and to express appreciation for it. Okay. Kind of like, to expand on that, the next one is really to use gratitude in combat of fear. And this is really a principle that is taken from positive psychology. Okay. And so the idea here is that instead of succumbing to fear, combat it by expressing gratitude. Okay. Fear tends to be a product of the unknown. When we don't know something, when we don't understand something, when we're not sure of something, there is a fear that is associated with it. And that fear can make your space, your headspace, very, very dark and clouded. And so, gratitude as a practice can be utilized to overcome that fear. And again, using it in conjunction with the mindfulness. So, in that moment, acknowledge that fear and counter it with the things that you are grateful for. So, like, for example, if you are having a moment in your mind where you are worried about how you're gonna take care of a bill next month, right? How you're gonna handle something that needs to happen next month, and it's unknown, you're not sure how that's going to take place. Utilize fear, because in that moment, excuse me, utilize thankfulness, because in that moment the fear is probably causing you anxiety, it's causing you great sadness and maybe even depression. It's causing you just a slew of negative emotions, right? You can utilize gratitude as a practice in that moment, and say, you know, I don't know what's going to happen next month, but I'm glad that I was able to get it paid this month. I figured it out this month. Last month, I didn't know how I was going to get it done this month, but I figured it out. And I'm thankful for that. And it reassures me that I have the ability to figure shit out. And it pulls me out of that fear. And so the last thing that I want to share in terms of utilizing gratitude as a practice is really one of the most important pieces, is that you have to be consistent. You want to try to do this as often as possible. Daily is recommended, especially when you are in your darkest moments. It goes a long way in terms of helping you to manifest more quickly, more efficiently, and I think also more abundantly in your life. All right. Okay. So that's all I got for y'all today in terms of understanding gratitude. Like I said, it was really just a crash course. I mean, this is like I could do a whole class just on gratitude, okay? Like this is literally just scratching the tip of the surface. But I wanted to give you enough to at least get those wheels rolling in your mind, because as we start moving into vision planning for 2018, these are things that you need to be thinking about, things that you need to have already on your mind. Okay. All right. Um, Coming up next is high five. All right, people. So this week's high five goes to former NFL player Colin Kaepernick. And so I freaking love this dude. Like, first of all, Colin Kaepernick, um, I think he has very big balls. And while I have not seen his balls in person, I am inclined to believe that his balls must be huge because he was willing to stand up for what he believes in the face of just being berated by people who were trying to intimidate him. They took his job, they took his livelihood, they tried to humiliate him, they tried to slander him, and he has continued to stand by his protest. He has continued to fight for what he believes is right, and he is doing so unapologetically. And so I definitely agree with GQ magazine for naming Colin Kaepernick as their Citizen of the Year for 2017. The photo shoot, if you have not seen it, like the photos and things, it is like off the fucking chain. Like, it is everything that is right with the world, okay? He did like this Black Panthers inspired kind of photo shoot. But then he also, he had some other shots like in a dashiki with these braids and stuff like that. Like, just very editorial type of images, which what else would we expect from GQ? Definitely, I think GQ is synonymous with quality and couture, actually, to a certain extent, men's couture. But he also, Colin Kaepernick, even in doing this, or agreeing to be this citizen of the year, or accepting this honor of being the citizen of the year for 2017, he did not waver from his message. And so he chose to remain silent, continue to remain silent, but he selected 10 of his closest confidants to speak about his message, to speak about the movement and the state of race relations in America. And he chose some of the names, like some of the biggest names in Black culture, multicultural movements, like just some of the foremost thinkers, of our generation as it relates to race relations in America. People like Ava DuVernay, I always say her name wrong. Harry Belafonte, the King Harry Belafonte, rapper J. Cole, and activist Carmen Perez. Not only that, Colin said, okay, I'm gonna do this photo shoot for y'all, but if y'all want me to do this photo shoot, y'all need to use black designers. And so even in, you know, doing this highly commercial, highly mainstream kind of press, which we don't see a whole lot of press from Colin Kaepernick, or at least I haven't seen a whole lot of press here lately from Colin Kaepernick. He still found a way to incorporate his overall message and uplift the African American community. And I'm all over this. Like, I think that Colin Kaepernick deserves a high five. Actually, I think that GQ magazine deserves a high five because they had to have known that selecting Colin Kaepernick as their Citizen of the Year, that there was going to be some backlash as a result of that. And so I think I'm also inclined to believe that GQ magazine has some pretty big balls as well. And so to Colin Kaepernick and GQ magazine for all of their big ass balls and for standing up for what is right and for putting together a bomb ass editorial and giving us entertainment and just giving us modern day social activism. High five. Actually, double high five. You get a high 10, okay? You get a high 10, because I just think that this is what we need in this world, and there is a shift taking place, and I'm really excited that this is happening in our lifetime. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to watch it develop and to watch it grow. And so high five Colin Kaepernick, high five GQ magazine. Y'all the shit, y'all is the shit. So Yeah, good job. Finally, for today's episode, I feel like I always feel like the episodes go by so quickly. And I'm always like in the beginning, oh, this is going to be a really short episode. And then, like here it is 42 minutes later or something like that, 45 minutes later. But I just want to list the things that I am thankful for. And I urge you to do the same as well. Like I said earlier, there is so much for each and every one of us to be thankful for. And some of us, or some of you who are listening to me right now, you're probably looking at the radio or the phone or, listening to this podcast and saying, like, I don't have nothing to be thankful for. And I really challenge you to question that thought process. Okay. I really challenge you to question that because while I am a silver linings kind of girl, I'm not naive by any stretch of the imagination. I understand that there are terrible things that happen in this world. And I understand that there are people who have had to withstand things that no human being should ever have to withstand. And I also know and understand that if you are listening to the sound of my voice right now in this moment, and you are one of the people who have gone through the things that no human being should ever have to go through, you're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. Okay? And for that, I thank you. All right? And it's something that you can express gratitude for. It's a starting place, okay? So, some of the things that I am thankful for in this life, 2017 has been an amazing and crazy, crazy year for me. I am definitely grateful for 2017 and the growth that has taken place throughout this year. I feel like I'm in a place right now that I have never been in before in my entire life, both personally and professionally, spiritually, financially. Like, so much growth has taken place in my own personal life in 2017, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my sanity. I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for faith and understanding and wisdom and growth. And I'm grateful for my husband. And I'm just grateful for my husband. And I think at the end of the day, moving into 2018, I am grateful for vision and the ability to manifest that vision. And I tell y'all every single week, I know, um, but I just really want y'all to know that I appreciate y'all because you are allowing me to live my dream. Every download, every subscribe, every like, every comment, every phone call and text from people saying, "Girl, the podcast was so good this week," or when that book coming out, girl, you need to write a book, or just the support and the love. Um, yes, I am getting teary eyed. It's Don't make it a thing, people. This is what I do. I'm emotional. But thank you. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate everything that you are. I appreciate having the opportunity to participate in your journey. I know that it is a major opportunity and I do not take it lightly. And yeah, I'm grateful, y'all. I'm thankful and I'm grateful and all that jazz. Okay? What are you grateful for? Hit me up. Let me know what you're grateful for. Send me an email or, hit us with a comment or something like that. Make sure you follow Unicorns Talk Podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Unicorns Talk Pod. Also, make sure you follow me, my personal page on Instagram at Latrice Sampson Richards. Twitter at L Sam Richards, Facebook at Latrice Sampson Richards as well. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. You can head over to the website, check out any past episodes. Make sure that listen on all across all platforms. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, and pretty much any podcasting app that is out there. You can just do a search for Unicorns Talk Podcast and I'll be there. Make sure you like and subscribe and download and share and comment and just let the people know if you enjoyed this. Let the people know. That is the best way that you can help me to continue to manifest my vision and walk in my purpose. And, for everything that you are, I'm grateful. And my wish for you this Thanksgiving is that you can find something, anything in your life to be grateful for and really start the journey toward healing and manifestation in your life. And I mean that with everything in me. All right. So that's all I got for y'all today. Um, Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And until next time, be well. Bye, y'all.